All right, well, let's just jump in and talk about your long love affair with Princess Jasmine.
Oh yeah, I love her. She's a part of me, and I think when you grow up, I'm a mixed race kid. I'm half Indian, half white. You look for role models as a kid, and she was always one of them. You know, she's so many things. You see yourself visually represented, but also she's tough and smart and courageous, and she goes after what she believes in despite what everyone says around her. So I think she's an awesome role model for kids, and I love to be able to do that in a reimagined Broadway version of that every day.
Does it still feel emotional to play the role each night?
Yeah, there's always moments, you know, I've done it like almost 500 times now. Crazy.
It's in perspective.
Yeah, but like, you know, I think that you relax into it after a while, and so there's moments that like surprise me. And I hear a phrase in a new way, or like I'm watching other people and noticing something for the first time in that moment. And I think that makes me emotional, totally. Every day, there's a little kid in that audience whose life has changed forever. You know, people are like, why do you think Aladdin's been so successful? And I think it's because we are so rooted in joy. Everyone is so happy by the end of the show, and that can be cathartic and healing, and there's so much not joy going on in the world. And so I think that it's a beautiful thing to return to that and to choose joy every day.
Aladdin is such a staple now on Broadway, which is
Totally.
pretty amazing. How does the cast feel, and how does that look celebrating that?
I think we feel really lucky because, I mean, you look at other Broadway shows and we're just so lucky to have lasted. 10 years is a huge milestone for Broadway. I mean, there aren't that many shows that hit 10 years. So then to be a part of that and to know that we have a future beyond this too, and it brings us together, and I think every day we just count our lucky stars for sure.
And what's remarkable is being in the show now as an adult, but you've played this role before, right? What's the difference between those two? I feel like there's a little difference.
Production value might have been a little different.
Aside from that.
No, I actually, it was funny, a friend of mine who I hadn't talked to in years sent me clips from that production. I played Jasmine and Aladdin Jr. when I was 12. And it's funny because there's parts of it that I'm like, I actually recognize myself in that little kid with braces. And we obviously didn't have like a real flying carpet and all that stuff. But yeah, it's like, it's the same heart, and like the little kid in me I bring on stage with me every day too.
What did your family think when you got this role a year ago?
I think that like the honor and the pride they felt was the most emotional part of the journey for me. And you know, they've like seen me be an actor auditioning for years, and they've known I've wanted this my whole life. So I think to be there on my Broadway debut night, and so I come out on a cart in my first scene, and I can see the audience, and I immediately spotted my parents, even though they were wearing masks, and I was like, okay, I can't look there for the rest of the night, because I could just see them like crying, and yeah, it's beautiful.
Now, I know you do so many shows a week to get up to 500. What do you do outside of it? Do you have a routine outside of it, or something you do to enjoy yourself, relax, find balance?
Yeah, I go to the gym. It's like a mental game more than anything else. I have kittens. I spend time with them. A resolution I have for myself. I'm not even really that big on resolutions, but I want to volunteer once a month. So January is officially over, and I did work at the Bowery Mission this month, which was really great. Working with people who don't have access to a good meal every day. And they do awesome stuff there too. They do like art therapy there, and it was great to be there and learn more about what they do. Yeah, because I feel like even though I get to perform for a big audience every single night, what we do is insular, and our community it's in many ways, as much as it's for everyone, it can be very ego-driven, and I think it's good to get outside of my own head and outside of my own life and think about the things that really matter to me outside of being a performer.
Where does that come from? Your parents?
I mean, a little bit. I mean, my parents are like activists in the world, I would say. My dad works in like the climate change field. My mom's a singer, actually, and does a lot of work with kids. But it's always been something that I've just been drawn to as a kid. Like, I would find causes that I cared about and like just immerse myself in them as a kid. And in college, actually, I found myself in a low place, and I had this epiphany that I just needed to give back and stop thinking about myself so much. And I went to the Philippines and I did this disaster relief program where we like restructured and rebuilt community centers and built homes there, and it was like the best thing I've ever done in my life. So if I can go back to that at least once a month, it's good for me, it's good for the world, and hopefully I encourage other people to do the same.